Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. This is a sacred space where we come together to talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the magic of the law of attraction. In today's video, we'll be diving into a twin flame reading. If you're new here, know that I regularly share twin flame readings to offer guidance, clarity, and support on your journey. So if that resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications, so you'll always know when a new reading goes live. Now, with that being said, one of the beautiful added benefits of subscribing is that it actually helps me connect more deeply with your energy. The more often I connect with you here, the easier it becomes for me to tune into your unique frequency, which allows me to channel messages, guidance, and information that are much more aligned and specific to you. This doesn't just apply to this reading. It extends to future videos as well, creating a kind of ongoing energetic exchange between us. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you who have subscribed and continue to share your energy here. You are not just watching these readings. You are co-creating this sacred space, this beautiful soul community that we're building together here on YouTube. I'm beginning today by shuffling the Energy Oracle cards deck to center and tune into the messages coming through for this reading. If you feel guided to do so, I'd love for you to leave a comment below for our community, share how you've been feeling this week, and let us know where you're at on your journey. It's such a beautiful way to connect and support one another. Now, as I'm shuffling, I'm noticing something significant. At the bottom of the deck, we have Door to Spirit. For you, Divine Feminine, I'm immediately hearing this card speak very clearly. Interestingly, two cards came out right away for us to begin with. One is Door to Spirit reversed, which I feel is highlighting the Divine Feminine's greatest obstacle at this time. The other is the Sacral Chakra in the upright position, which I sense is showing us the Divine Masculine's greatest current challenge. I'm going to channel more deeply into these energies in just a moment. But here's what stands out right away. With Door to Spirit reversed, there's a strong message about embracing your own spiritual nature. Divine Feminine, you're being called to remember that you're here with a powerful spiritual mission and purpose, something that may not always be understood by those around you. As I'm saying this, I just saw the number 333, which is so striking because it also came through in a recent reading. When you see this number, Divine Feminine, it's a powerful sign that you're being divinely supported by higher realms at this time in your mission and purpose. I'm also feeling a Divine Feminine out there who senses herself as though she's living between two worlds. I can almost hear her saying, "It's like I have one foot in two places at once." This is such a beautiful reflection of the duality you're experiencing, the balance of being both soul and human simultaneously. It's a reminder that although this path can feel intense, it's also a sacred part of your journey and growth. I feel that in the past, the Divine Feminine has really struggled to merge these two aspects of self. For many feminines, this came from what I would call a learned rejection of their own natural essence. I'm getting that for some of you, this showed up in the form of your deepest inclinations, interests, and passions. The things that lit you up on a soul level. Others may have dismissed these parts of you, labeling them as just hobbies or not taking them seriously. Yet for many, these were actually sacred creative endeavors, whether through art, music, writing, or other forms of expression that carried within them the seeds of your spiritual gifts. I feel that for a period of time, Divine Feminine, you may have turned away from these passions, gifts, talents, and abilities, not because they lacked value, but because those around you did not recognize or honor them. And in that reflection of the external world, you may have unconsciously learned to undervalue them yourself. But what's coming through so strongly here is that these very passions, these very creative sparks, are some of the greatest spiritual offerings you have to give to this world. And so now, Divine Feminine, you find yourself on this journey of rediscovering and reclaiming your own inner value. With Magician and the Mirror showing up in the reverse, along with Storm Warning also reversed, I feel that you are currently rising out of a season of life that has been anything but steady. For many, this felt like a period of turbulence, of deep emotional chaos, and I'm strongly sensing that much of this upheaval was tied directly to your relationships, particularly romantic ones. If you've been connecting with your twin flame in the 3D, I do feel their energy woven into this process as well, as both of you have been pushed to confront and heal long-standing patterns of codependency. The door to personal healing and happiness appeared first in the reverse, but then it spun itself upright, a very telling movement. There was such a strong energy behind this shift, and it feels like Spirit is emphasizing the momentum of your healing. I'm hearing clearly healing attachment wounds, rewriting old patterns, and releasing the trauma that once dictated how you connected with love and intimacy. What I'm really gathering here is that the Divine Feminine has been undergoing a powerful reorientation. In the past, there may have been this tendency to search externally for validation, to lean on others, perhaps even on the twin flame counterpart, for confirmation of worth and love. Yet now, the lesson and the gift is in redirecting that gaze inward, realizing that the value you were seeking outside was always within you. This message echoes what came through in the recent Divine Feminine reading. The collective feminine is reclaiming sovereignty over her sense of self-worth, healing at the root, and learning to hold her own light without needing anyone else to reflect it back. But now, Divine Feminine, you are stepping into a new way of being. With the solar plexus energy coming through so strongly, what I see you cultivating is that unshakable sense of self, confidence, healthy boundaries, and a deep-rooted self-worth. You are beginning to validate yourself in ways you may have once sought from others, learning to hold space for your own emotions, and discovering how to support yourself from within. This inner shift is creating a profound energetic integration inside your being. I keep hearing the phrase, a time of peace, a season of reconnecting with your own essence, finding serenity in your own heart, and even making peace with chapters of your past that once felt too heavy to carry. For some of you, this healing touches places within where you've carried self-blame for far too long. I'm sensing divine feminines who may have gone through experiences in childhood or adolescence where you took responsibility for things that were never yours to hold. Perhaps something unfolded around you, something an adult did, said, or experienced. And even though you were so young, you somehow believed it was your fault. Spirit is saying so clearly, it was never your fault. Now is the time you are releasing those old burdens, untangling yourself from misplaced guilt, and allowing compassion to flow toward your younger self. This is where your inner peace truly begins, by forgiving yourself for something that was never yours to carry in the first place, and by reclaiming the joy, freedom, and wholeness that has always been your birthright. And your spirit guides are really bringing this forward for you right now, because if you are resonating with this message, it is meant as a gentle nudge, a reminder that it is time to finally let this go. I would normally say forgive yourself, but in this case, there is nothing you need forgiveness for. Instead, it is about embracing that younger version of yourself, the part of you that carried blame for something that was never your fault. It is about holding them, loving them, letting them know they are safe now. It's also about making peace within yourself with a person or situation that, in the 3D physical sense, may never meet you halfway, may never apologize, or may never fully reconcile with you. Yet the healing does not depend on them. It begins and ends with you. As I say that, I'm getting full-body chills, and of course, the yin-yang card comes out upright here, powerfully confirming this message. The more you cultivate this inner peace, the more you soften into integration, balancing both the inner masculine and feminine within you. You begin to show up for yourself, to validate yourself, to support yourself in ways you once longed for from others. And it's in this self-honoring that you find wholeness, balance, and a deeper sense of alignment with your own soul's path. The hidden truth here, the part that isn't immediately visible on the surface, is that you are actually aligning with extremely high vibrational forms of love and connection. At its core, the highest vibrational form of love available in human experience is the twin flame connection. This is not because it is better than other forms of love in a hierarchical sense, but because twin flames have the greatest capacity to hold and transmit the purest, highest frequency of unconditional love between them. Yes, in the 3D realm, things can appear disordered or even chaotic. Blockages, unhealed wounds, and external influences can temporarily lower the vibration between you and your twin flame in the physical world. But at the spiritual level, twin flames hold an unparalleled potential for an intense, soul-deep, unconditional love bond. This is because they share the same soul origin, two expressions of the same core frequency, originating from the same moment of creation. if we could even frame it in terms of time at the universal level. What I'm receiving for you, Divine Feminine, is that with the first chakra appearing reversed, much of the emotional turbulence and inner storms you've been experiencing are not only your own but are also reflected within your twin flame connection itself. In other words, what you are healing and stabilizing within your own energy field right now is simultaneously reverberating through the energetic bond you share with your twin. This period, though intense, is preparing you both for a more grounded, secure, and higher aligned expression of your connection. Yeah, with blossoming abundance in reverse, it feels like the energy of someone who at first planted a seed with full intention, like saying to themselves, "This is what I want. I'm committed. I'm ready for the long haul." But then, somewhere along the way, things began to shift. Something within this connection started to grow out of alignment, tipping the scales so heavily that it created this pause, this moment of reevaluation. Almost like Spirit is showing you the experience of putting your heart into fertile soil, only to notice that what should be flourishing instead begins to wither or feel imbalanced. And in that moment, there's this inner voice going, wait, is this really aligned with me? Is this still the path I choose? So now I'm going to reshuffle the cards and open up a dialogue with the Divine Masculine, specifically around what I mentioned earlier as his greatest spiritual and energetic obstacle at this time. This radical, almost overwhelming opening of the sacral chakra energy. What exactly is happening within this masculine as his sacral chakra begins to open? I'm seeing victory in the reverse. This masculine energy is feeling deeply hopeless and defeated right now. There's a heaviness around his sense of self-worth and his ability to handle what's rising within him. I'm strongly picking up that communication with his Divine Feminine is highlighted here. Perhaps there was a recent exchange or conversation that on the surface he acted unaffected by, but internally it shook him to his core. I'm getting that he's feeling defenseless, as though his walls have been forcefully knocked down before he was ready, exposing him in ways he's never experienced. It's not just a sense of defeat, it's a confrontation with inevitability. What he's feeling for the Divine Feminine, the intensity of it, the depth of it, is something he realizes he can't outrun or suppress. And that realization both terrifies and disarms him at the same time. What else I'm seeing here is with the throat chakra and the door to value both upright, this masculine is either preparing himself or already deeply considering sharing with you, Divine Feminine, just how much he truly values you and this connection. For some, this may have already come through in subtle words or gestures recently, almost like little hints he can't quite hold back. For others of you, if there hasn't yet been communication, what Spirit wants you to know is that he has been quietly but intensely contemplating how to express this truth. Now, I want to go a little deeper into this, because what exactly is it he wishes to communicate? I feel this isn't just about saying you're valuable on the surface. It's about him recognizing your worth on a soul-deep level, realizing the rarity of what the two of you share, and wanting to give voice to that acknowledgement. At the same time, I'm seeing a strong link here to his sacral chakra. This isn't simply a throat chakra activation happening in isolation. There's a correlation. The more this masculine softens, heals, and opens within his sacral energy, particularly around themes of vulnerability, intimacy, and allowing himself to be transparent, the more easily his voice begins to follow. His ability to express, to speak honestly from the heart, is energetically tied to that sacral healing. So, this communication, as much as it may manifest in the 3D through words, has to start at an energetic level first. Yeah, it's time for me to heal now. This masculine, despite being so heavily in his mind about wanting to open up more to you, Divine Feminine, in the 3D, to express just how deeply he values you and this connection, is still holding back. For some of you, if he's already given you glimpses of these truths in the physical, what I'm seeing is almost like him saying, "There's so much more I want to tell you, but I'm not ready yet." And for others, where there's been no outward communication at all, I'm seeing a masculine energy literally typing and retyping messages, drafting and deleting, really wanting to speak his heart, but hesitating. His higher self steps forward here to say, the healing has to happen first. The communication can't fully come through yet. In fact, I feel strongly this communication is being divinely delayed or even gently blocked until the masculine has healed his sacral energy more deeply. This is happening for a reason. The divine knows that for twin flames, the bond is so intense and so energetically pure that most of the true communication already takes place on a soul level, through energy, emotions, dreams, signs, and synchronicities, far beyond words, body language, or even physical presence. This pause, this delay is not rejection. It's a sacred space being created so that when the words do come, they will carry the vibration of truth, wholeness and alignment rather than fear, fragmentation or unhealed wounds. And so we can feel the most subtle shifts in one another's energy. And Spirit is coming through to say, Divine Masculine, this healing within your sacral energy, this willingness to open yourself fully and allow vulnerability at the energetic level, is something that must happen first. It's not optional. It's the necessary groundwork before you can come forward with clear, honest, and open-hearted communication. For the Divine Feminine, there's a message surfacing from the masculine here. I couldn't handle the depth of my true feelings for you, so I pushed them down. I kept you in the category of just friends and nothing more. That's the energy I'm picking up. Sorry, almost dropped the cards there. Now, of course, this is going to play out differently depending on your situation. For some divine masculines, I see this as a deep resistance, almost a refusal, to place any real label on your connection. For others, there's a sense that the divine feminine may have felt hidden or kept in the shadows, as though this connection wasn't something the masculine was willing to bring fully into the light of the 3D. This could have shown up in multiple ways. Perhaps he didn't show you off or openly adore you in front of others. Perhaps he wasn't giving you that public acknowledgement, affection, or validation. For some, it was about the lack of clarity, the refusal to define the relationship, to say, yes, this is real, this is us, this is where we're going. For others, it was about not moving the connection forward in a tangible way when it came to commitment, growth, or alignment. What it comes down to is this: without that sacral healing, without the masculine choosing vulnerability over fear, his ability to step into true transparency and to meet the divine feminine equally in the physical was blocked. And Spirit is saying that's what is shifting now. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Gemini, often referred to as the sign of the twins, may hold significance here. Someone could have Gemini energy strongly placed in their chart. But beyond the astrological connection, what I feel with this card is the energy of culmination. With the full moon, something is always brought to a peak, to a place of heightened intensity, and in this case, it feels very much like this masculine's desire to reach out. To open up communication is reaching its tipping point. Yet, Spirit is reminding us that this movement forward is not just about words being spoken. It's deeply tied to the sacral chakra healing that must occur simultaneously. The answers you've been waiting on, divine feminine, the clarity you've longed for, are on their way. But they come alongside this masculine's willingness to confront his own blocked energy, his own fears of vulnerability, intimacy, and emotional openness. I also sense that these answers are not only about what he chooses to share outwardly, but also about him finally being more vocal, more transparent, regarding things that you may have doubted, questioned, or longed to hear from him in some tangible way. It's like the energy of truth finally being ready to surface. The card that comes out here says, I'm haunted by us. I didn't follow my heart, and now I don't know how to let you go. And with this, I hear a message. This is a divine masculine who, time and time again, ignored the whispers of his own heart. His soul has been nudging him, almost pleading with him. Reach out to her. Move this forward. Don't let this connection slip away. But he resisted. He was stubborn. He fought against these inner impulses over and over again. And now he has reached this breaking point, this inner threshold. There is a sense of defeat here, a realization that resisting his heart has only brought him loss. For some, it may be the tangible sense of losing the divine feminine because she has walked away, or there's been a painful disconnect. For others, it feels like a deep hopelessness dawning, a knowing that he cannot outrun what is inevitable. He can no longer silence the pull of his own soul. And although this may feel like collapse for him, what's actually happening is an energetic breaking open. His heart impulses, the ones he fought so hard against, are now pushing through with greater force. This is where the sacral healing comes in, where layers of resistance are stripped away. It's not something many masculines consciously felt ready for, but Spirit is saying it's happening regardless. It's an initiation. It's part of the inevitable path forward. I do want to tune into this divine masculine's higher self for a moment, because for some reason, I'm really being pulled toward the traditional tarot deck here. So let's ask, what does this divine masculine's higher self want to share in this moment, either about this situation or directly to the divine feminine counterparts? Interesting. The Queen of Wands reversed is showing up here. Immediately, I'm sensing the energy of an apology. It feels like this masculine is coming forward on a soul level saying, I was focused on the wrong things, and I am sorry. The words selfish and self-centered are very strongly coming through, almost as if he's admitting to having acted from a place that was more about serving himself than honoring this connection. For some of these divine masculines, there may have been times where their own interests, desires, or ambitions were put ahead of you. Divine feminine, or ahead of what was truly in the best interest of your bond together. I'm also hearing the word greedy. For certain masculines, this may have manifested as a fixation on power, external recognition, material pursuits, or money. And I see here that this was coming from what I would call a distorted energy. A misalignment within that led them to chase things outside of themselves rather than cultivating wholeness within. I'm being shown the number 2020. For some of you, this period could literally connect back to events or patterns that unfolded around that time. But I'm also getting the phrase, hindsight is 2020. It feels like this masculine is now beginning to see clearly, reflecting back on how his past actions, choices, or emotional reactions may have caused harm to you or to the connection, and feeling a deep sense of regret because of that awareness. There's also a really strong emotional current tied to this card. I want to describe it as heavy, almost turbulent, like anger, frustration, even volatility. In the past, this masculine may have been easily triggered, defensive, or reactive, and that created tension or distance between you. But now the energy feels very different. It's as though all that anger has turned inward. Instead of projecting outward, this masculine is carrying that weight inside of himself, feeling anger toward his own choices, frustration with himself for how he acted, and remorse for the ways those behaviors affected you and the connection. I just pulled the star card in the reverse position, and what that immediately signals to me is a masculine energy moving through waves of stress, discouragement, and even a sense of despair. This reverse star often reflects moments of feeling hopeless or creatively blocked, almost as though the light at the end of the tunnel feels dimmed. And interestingly, this energy ties directly back into the sacral chakra, because the sacral isn't only the center of intimacy, vulnerability, and emotional openness, it's also the seat of creativity. Those two aspects flow together. Our ability to open our hearts, to be authentic, to allow ourselves to be seen, is deeply linked with our ability to create, to bring something alive from the soul. What I see here is this masculine's higher self stepping forward to confirm, yes, this is the healing happening most powerfully right now. It's about reclaiming that openness, allowing vulnerability, learning to create from authenticity rather than fear. But in the 3D, where things feel more dense and difficult, what you need to know, Divine Feminine, is that he's carrying a lot of hopelessness around this process. There's this heaviness of regret that comes through very strongly. Regrets about times when he may have been self-centered, when his focus was on the wrong priorities, and how those choices may have contributed to disconnection or conflict within this connection. It feels like he is sitting with the weight of those realizations. And though it's painful, it's also part of the necessary healing, learning to release those old patterns so that something more open, creative, and true can emerge. Now, as I bring this YouTube reading to a close, I felt guided to pull just one final Rumi Oracle card. The card that came out is Sacred Phoenix Heart. I want to share a passage from the guidebook that accompanies it because the words themselves carry such profound medicine. It says, "Under the cover of blood, love veils many rose gardens. In total faith, love tenderly guides every lover to the garden of the heart." Reason says, "The world is limited in 6 directions. There is no way out." But love says, "There is a way, and I have traveled it many times." Rumi goes on to remind us that love is not afraid of trials, difficulties, or what seems impossible. Love does not shy away. It moves through. It finds a way because that is its very essence. Love whispers to us, there is always another way. This card comes as a message to you now, to accept what has closed, what has ended, what has caused you pain. You are being guided not to resist these endings, but to allow them to become tinder for your inner fire. Cry the tears that need to be released so that the ground of your being can become dry and ready to spark, ready to ignite that sacred phoenix within you that longs to rise, to be reborn, and to create life again. You may feel as though you have been wandering through a desert season, searching and searching for an oasis that has seemed just out of reach. Perhaps you've moved through confusion, uncertainty, even darkness as you tried to uncover your truth, your purpose, or a divine revelation to guide your next steps. The card affirms, seek no more. The clarity, the answers, the passion, and the purpose are either being revealed to you right now or are about to become unmistakably clear. And as confirmation of this message, just as I was channeling these words, I saw the number 444, a powerful sign of divine protection, guidance, and stability. What a beautiful synchronicity and closing point for this reading. Thank you so much for tuning in today and sharing this space with me. I truly hope that something within this reading spoke to your heart or offered you even a little bit of clarity, guidance, or comfort. If anything did resonate with you, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Feel free to leave me a comment under the video and let me know your thoughts or experiences. Wishing you the most wonderful, peaceful, and beautiful rest of your day and weekend ahead. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon in the next reading.